Welcome to the Morality Complex,
where we explore moral dilemmas through candid conversation
and dissect the bounds of those moral dilemmas.
and see the effect they have on everyday life. Oh my gosh.
You know what didn't get recalled for having alcohol in it?
Monster, I might have to switch over.
Yeah, welcome to the
That's
club, dude.
insane
Great.
news to find out. I guess I'll
Punch
recap
myself
it
in
because
the
we're
face
going to
with my
keep
mouth.
this in. We found out that Celsius was recalled for having just vodka in it.
And Kayla's favorite go-to energy drink has been Celsius
For
months.
For months.
Ever since I started really drinking energy drinks, and my preferred drink is Monsters. Ever since I started drinking them, a lot of my friends have followed suit. Kayla is one of them, and she was like, I don't like Monster. And
I
starts
didn't like the
drinking
one Monster.
Celsius.
I started drinking Celsius, and I was like, "This is great!" And I tried all different
wonder
flavors. Oh my!
That's probably why I've been drinking them the past every day for the past 3 weeks.
I've just been drinking Celsius, driving.
That's also
drinking
probably
Celsius,
why
working.
That's also probably why every time you drank them, you'd be shaking
Oh my gosh, maybe that is why.
because caffeine at that amount, usually a lot of the time, depending on the person, it can have people shaking,
Yeah.
but not to that extreme
And
level.
here I was thinking, I won't. Because I don't know, drinking's just not something but I guess I was wrong.
You should sue. You should sue them.
I mean, that has to be one of the highest. How do you mix up
That's
a label
insane. It's
like
one
that?
thing to, accidentally do too much of one thing or whatever.
Yeah.
A whole different
whole
drink
an-
in your energy drink.
An alcoholic drink.
And one of the highest not survivable, but highest consumable levels of alcohol in a drink in one sitting is in an energy drink.
Yeah, I
It's
wonder how much
insane.
they put in there. I
want to figure that out.
Yeah,
I'll do some
let's-
research.
yeah.
Here, I think there's an outlet behind the couch.
Oh, that'd be
So
great.
if you need to plug it in, you can just
Oh my gosh.
says Celsius energy drinks do not contain vodka. Celsius cans being mislabeled as High Noon Vodka Seltzer due to packaging error, according to several reports. This means that certain cans labeled as Celsius may actually contain a vodka seltzer cocktail, but Celsius itself is not an alcoholic beverage, so it looks like it was just High Noon.
Yeah, so I guess
and
we
Celsius
gotta
got
we
mixed up.
gotta which is not something that should get mixed together.
No, not at all.
But I guess if you look at the odds of I don't know how often I drink a Celsius and what are the chances that I
is
got
one of
one.
the
Yeah.
I feel like you'd also be able to taste the difference because a vodka seltzer and an energy drink are definitely going to taste a little different.
Yeah, I don't know how that's so crazy.
That's crazy, dude. That's
I'm not
insane.
gonna stop, but I'm not.
If you need a temporary
Yeah, I
fix
might
for
switch
energy
over. I
drinks,
feel like, but
I have some good Monster flavors that because I've been doing a little binge all of July where I
yeah.
try a new Monster flavor every time I find it.
Mhm.
I have a good 18 different flavors.
yeah, I like
saved up.
something fruity,
There's a few good ones.
Yeah.
There's different types of Monsters too. There's your Monster Zero, which is your 0 calorie diet.
yeah,
If it's a Diet Coke was energy drink, it would be the equivalent of that.
and that's my alley right there.
And there's a few. There's Ultra Peachy Keen. It's very strong peach.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. I like it. It's in my top 5 for
Is
sure.
that the pink, not pink,
It's
pinkish
the
can kind of?
peach color can.
Okay.
Ultra Strawberry Dreams.
Maybe that's one I'll
That's
try.
it's a very a bright pink. It's very strong strawberry. I really like that one too. A discontinued one where I know there are some being sold, but I'm not gonna say where. I'm gatekeeping because I really like it.
Sure.
Ultra Rosa. It's been discontinued. It's at select locations in town. I'm not telling anyone where they are, and the people who do know where they are, we have kind of sworn an oath not to say where these drinks are.
Is it that big of a deal in the Monster community?
People were depressed after Ultra Rosa was
Really?
discontinued. It was rough, dude.
Wow.
I didn't have it until after they discontinued it, and I'm like, these are good, dude. These are solid.
Yeah, I can't tell if this headache I have right now is from withdraw, the rain, or just not have eaten all day. But
Could be a combination.
yeah. Welcome back to the Morality Complex.
Today we're gonna ask the question: is striving for perfection rational?
I am so excited to talk about this because I have so many thoughts actually, because this is a bigger play into like specifically my everyday life.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like everything I do,
Got to be the best at.
this, yeah.
For me, I think just for our opening thoughts right now that
Sure.
we're doing, you had said that it's in your everyday life. For me, I see perfection in my everyday life just in a different sense. I see it more so as long as I'm striving to be better than who I was yesterday. That's my like version of perfection.
Sure. I guess mine would be, I think perfection is, at the end of the day, it's something that you should always strive for. And reflecting on yourself in the past is good, but you should also be reflecting on who you want to be in the future, which is ultimately, perfect, which is the ideal that we have.
Yeah, I can see how I see that. I just more so focus on you become who you become in the future, so long as you're not who you were in the past. That's kind of my idea. You're striving for perfection in the sense of you're getting further from who you used to be, and that is ideally how I see it, I guess.
Also you got to keep in mind that perfection is it's a moving goal. It's a moving target. Yes, there are ideals as to what you want to be perfect, but and that comes from the study of existentialism, which is just the idea that perfection is a moving target, that it's something that doesn't stay still. It's something that continues to be changed. Yeah.
It's an interesting thought concept. I do think I'm definitely in this, I guess, debate or just conversation today on the side of, I think perfection is impossible. You can only be better than who you used to be. That's ultimately, I had said perfection a second ago in my little anecdote or my idea back then, like a few minutes ago, however long ago it was.
Sure.
But it's less perfection, more so just betterment. I think perfection is impossible just because perfection implies like zero flaws at all. And to be human is to have flaws, and you can't be perfect while being human. You pick one or the other.
You see, I don't think you have to pick one or the other. I think while everybody has different meanings of perfect, and I understand that's true. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all striving to do the same thing. We're all striving to be our idea of perfect.
But the concept of perfect as an individual idea defeats the definition of perfect.
Okay, sure. Let's get into examples, because you had an example, so go ahead and drop it.
I think my first example, it's a novel, actually.
A novel? Okay.
A novel.
Sure.
Everyone knows it. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. All right.
So, for those unaware of the concept, a scientist named Victor Frankenstein attempts to create...
Who is listening to this that doesn't know what Frankenstein is?
You never know.
Sure, okay.
You never know. It's just a general just in case.
Rivers wrote this new novel called Frankenstein, guys.
Frankenstein 2, actually.
Okay,
I made the
go
sequel.
ahead.
The first one was a while ago. But, no, I'm kidding. Basically, Victor Frankenstein's whole idea was, let's create the perfect human being by stitching together parts from really, strong people, for example. But in that process of striving for this idea of perfection when it came to a human being, he ended up making a monster that suffered and ended up basically taking away everything that he loved. In his attempt at creating perfection, he tore himself down in a way that he could not fix. Perfection is such an out there goal, and plus, not even just for himself. He made this creature that was supposed to be a human and probably had a human mind, but was just in constant pain and agony, I'm sure. So in this chase for perfection, he ruined not only his own life, the lives of multiple people he took parts from, but also the life of this creature he created, because he set it up to be, I guess, a failure in a way. He set it up to be perfect, but it ended up not meeting those expectations and becoming destructive and a monster. That's the best novel example I think I can think of.
And that's a really good novel example. I guess my thing would be, okay, he wants to create the perfect human being, sure. He ended up making a monster. Yeah. But isn't that just a testament to his flaws as a doctor? Not necessarily. And I understand maybe, hey, creating, foreign animals and foreign, creating monsters is not good. But we should still... it's not because he wanted to be perfect, or it's not because he wasn't perfect and he couldn't reach it. It's because he didn't. You're creating monsters. Yes, something like that's gonna happen. He should have. It's because he wasn't prepared for the off chance that it wouldn't work.
I can see how that. I guess, but ultimately it still defeats that. Like that's like it's like the sentiment of perfection is what that is. It's not necessarily.
But that's not the
thing.
flaw. The flaw is his limited ideologies as to what could have gone wrong.
And therefore, I mean, that also, like, in creating this monster, he wanted perfection, but he didn't account for the flaws, and therefore it led to him.
So
like,
striving for perfection is not the limitation that he experienced. It was not being prepared. That was
not being prepared, I guess.
clocked. Sorry.
No.
We can-
No, I'm trying to like gather my, because I have like different ideas. I'm just trying to figure out how to say them like properly.
Yeah, good.
It's like, I guess in him trying to make a perfect being, he still failed, which himself makes him not perfect, when even in the novel he had this idea that he was so great. But it's like he was striving for perfection and he still fell short, and even still he couldn't, based on his practices, he wouldn't have even been able to create that perfect human. There's no way he could have. It's not even like an implied yes or no. It's a solid, there's no way that somebody stitching parts of other humans together can create the perfect human. It's just impossible.
Yeah, definitely. If you're creating a perfect human, you wouldn't do it by stitching people.
And that in of itself is a flaw. Like he chose, he was like, oh, this will make the
that
perfect
has
thing.
nothing. That's because he was a bad doctor. It's not because aiming for perfection was the thing that went wrong. It's because he thought you could create the perfect human by using stitches.
His goal was to create perfection. He still fell short, and he still caused this monster to be in pain and lost all of his stuff. Yes, he was trying to be perfect.
Right.
He still failed nonetheless.
Yeah.
His ideology, he thought, was going to be perfect. His goal was perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Still fell short, and it would have fallen short no matter what. There's just no way it would have worked no matter what.
And you're saying that's because there's no perfect human.
And there's no way to create a perfect human being. Ultimately, I think that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
There's no way to make a perfect human in any way, shape, or form. So his idea of trying to create one in any way
would have only
flawed,
led to failure.
and ultimately led to failure, which makes seeking this perfect thing irrational.
Yeah.
If you can't make it in the first place, there's like, if it's physically impossible to make it, you're already setting yourself up for failure, and therefore making you imperfect and your plan imperfect.
Yeah. That's a freaking good example. I thought you were going to do the other one. That's okay.
I actually added one to the one I mentioned.
Oh,
a bit ago.
that's great. Let's
There's
hear
two
it.
now.
Oh,
Do you have anything else to add to the Frankenstein?
the
thing?
Frankenstein one? No, I might rewatch the. Isn't there the movie?
There's a
I might
movie,
have to.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
There's
gonna
a movie.
rewatch the movie.
Yeah. I guess I'm just going to drop the bombshell. This is going to be a little more entertaining. Kayla's not going to be too happy about this one, but in the Marvel franchise in general, there's right now I had one example, but while we were sitting talking about the perfect person, I actually just came up with a second one. I'm going to start with the second one because it might be a little less of a devastating
Just say it. Stop. Okay.
Adam
just say
Warlock.
It. Okay.
He was designed genetically to be perfect, and yet he still falls for the vices of humanity. In the comics, another example is the Guardians of the Galaxy video game. He was corrupted by the Soul Stone.
Is that a
Spoilers.
good game? I've
It's
just
really-
played the Avengers.
Marvel's Avengers was bad.
It was. That's
Guardians
why.
of the
That's why I
Galaxy
didn't play
was-
Guardians of the Galaxy.
It was made by a different studio, but it was really good. I would say.
Oh,
It was
no wonder. Because I want it. It's on Plus PlayStation. So
Yeah, I
wanna
actually
get
have
it.
the disc for PS4 if you want to borrow
Oh,
it.
I don't have a disc thing on my
Oh,
PS5.
okay,
so.
never mind then.
But no, I wanted to play it. I just didn't
It's
know if it was
good. But spoilers for those who have not played it.
I have not played it, so why would you mention that?
I thought you. Oh my god.
I have not played it.
You
I
know
just
what?
asked if it was good. Okay.
Whatever. He still fell for these vices. So even in the
Okay, you know what?
movies,
Give the spoilers. So go ahead, because I think that's gonna help your point. So go ahead.
it throughout the.
Not that I shouldn't be helping you, but that's fine. Go ahead.
I'll help you with the next point that you have.
I don't need help. Keep going,
Mm-hmm.
Rivers.
In the game, the whole point, or like a big, I guess, keystone of the game was the Soul Stone, the Infinity Stone, the Soul
Yeah.
Stone. That was just kind of very prevalent throughout the game. Adam Warlock, he kind of became the protector of it, but it had this thing it was like a parasite within the stone.
Yeah.
That it was like evil. It was very evil. I don't remember exactly. I played this game a while ago. But basically, the Soul Stone still corrupted Adam Warlock and made him into a imperfect person. He was made to be perfect. It wasn't he was striving to be. He was already perfect off the get-go. Perfect, quote unquote, off the get-go. But he still ended up being corrupted by these vices. Another example in the movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He was also made to be perfect. But he still had the mind of a child. It was said by, what was his name? The purple guy.
I'm sorry. Go back. Who are we talking about?
In
You went
Guardians
from
of the
Warlock to Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Remember, what the purple dude made Adam Warlock.
Okay. I forget his name. I
Me
know who
too.
you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'll remember it halfway through this, and I was like, yell his name out in the
Yeah.
middle.
Well, if we're on the YouTube, we'll put the name up once
We'll put the name.
research.
Yeah, we'll put the name up in this section. But he designed Adam Warlock to be perfect, but he's still like when on like the other Earth. You're gonna look it up.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, yeah. That'll be nice. I don't know why I didn't think to do that earlier, but
Good.
when the Guardians were on the other Earth, trying to help save Rocket as
I cannot pronounce this guy's name.
what is it? What? Let me see it.
It's like Chukwudi. Yeah, we'll just
actor's
call him
name?
Chuck right now.
No, it's not the actor. It was the actual character. The High Evolutionary was his name.
Oh wait, okay.
I was looking for the High Evolutionary.
Yeah.
The High Evolutionary made Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock was made to be perfect.
Yeah.
When they were leaving the other Earth to get out into space, and the world was exploding all around them, Adam Warlock's first instinct was to go save his mother. He was not programmed to do so. He was not designed to do so. He was designed to be a worker, like a worker bee or a sentry, scout, whatever, for the High Evolutionary. Adam Warlock is like a very big Marvel character. His whole point is perfection. The perfect, the genetically perfect person.
Yeah.
He still falls for the vices of the world. He still has the attachments that a human would.
Right.
And was basically worked around his creation and programming to be perfect in order to fall into those things.
And that's true. And that's a great point. I guess it's important right now for me to mention striving for perfection does not mean you will reach perfection. I'm saying that aiming to be perfect it's okay. It's rational. It's how humans work. Yes, he was programmed to, and we can just talk about any superhero in general. For the most part, I'm going to say for the most
There's
part,
a good handful that are not perfect.
the majority of superheroes are aiming to be better. They're aiming to be perfect. They're aiming to save the world to reach perfection. So wouldn't you rather a hero that is striving to reach perfection rather than a hero that, I don't know, just wants to be better than yesterday? No, you should have a hero that wants to be perfect by the end of it so that way they can save you.
I had a point that I forgot it. Oh my god!
Well, that's not helpful in,
that's not helpful.
in this type
Oh my
of
God,
podcast here, Rivers.
That was. I need to. That's rough. I had a perfect comeback to that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I did. I'm being serious. Like I had one, and then I lost it.
Do you want me to repeat what I said
No,
so that
I feel
way
like
you
it's
can
not
find
gonna
it?
help. Oh my god!
I feel like
Okay, Okay. So you said that it makes sense for a hero to strive to be perfect.
Yeah.
No matter who it is. And that striving for perfection is rational in that sense because at the end of the day, they're helping people.
yeah.
But even still, circling back to like the Adam Warlock scenario here,
Mm-hmm.
someone made to be perfect was not perfect. And someone not made to be perfect like any other run-of-the-mill superhero, if the one designed to be perfect isn't perfect, all the rest of them will never be. So it makes sense for them to, rather than strive to be the absolute perfect being, to be better than who they were. A great example is Superman. He's just he's great, but he also wants to be better than before. His whole thing is improvement rather than perfection. Improvement on a smaller scale is, I guess, what I'm trying to get at in my thing. Small scale improvement in a smaller setting, a day-to-day setting, leads to long-term improvement on a grander scale. And that ties to the superhero thing anyways, because it's yes, the superheroes might strive to be perfect, but even still, a great example of striving to be perfect and then kind of crashing and burning? Icarus in Greek mythology. Was that your Greek mythology example?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So go ahead, for the same people that didn't know what Frankenstein is, why don't you go ahead and tell the tale of Icarus?
Tale of Icarus. Icarus and his father were trapped inside a labyrinth, and Icarus's father designed Icarus a pair of wings.
And his name was Daedalus.
This was your example, wasn't it?
Let's talk about it.
Let's.
You fell right. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Icarus, because all the Greek tales have some meaning behind them in the end.
Yeah, that's every tale.
That's every tale ever. But the
says
Greek
tale,
tales,
it's gonna tell a story.
well, the Greek tales are especially big for that because back then it was like the Greeks like morals and all that came from that.
When did you first start learning about Icarus? Because I feel like that's just something everybody knows. Is it
like
like taught in school?
It's not taught in school. I feel like it's something that everyone just stumbles across at some point.
I feel like where am I at there? I stumbled.
It's like every kid has like an age where they get into some random mythology. I actually had a friend of mine a while, like back in like elementary school, who
mythology or Harry Potter. I feel
it's like it's always something mystical.
Yeah.
Every kid has like
something mystical.
Something mystical.
Yeah.
One of my like a friend of mine. I'm back in like 5th grade or something. He got real deep into Norse mythology out of nowhere, and it was just like he would always be dropping facts left and right.
Yeah.
And it's like I think every kid.
Yeah,
the
my
Egyptian
brother got
ones,
deep into Percy Jackson, Greek mythology.
No, Percy Jackson was huge.
Percy Jackson
school.
is like it's like a trapdoor. Like you
Oh,
read
yeah.
the book and then you're in it. Like
It always comes from like a book series or something.
oh, it's
Harry
always
Potter,
a book story series.
It's always Harry Potter, Percy Jackson. I feel like there's a third one, but I'm probably
Harry
forgetting
Potter,
it.
Percy Jackson.
Might just be those two.
I think it might just be the. I feel like I don't know because now I'm just thinking of books from like when we
Yeah.
were in elementary school that were big.
I don't know. I think it doesn't matter though. A lot of like every kid has it. Like a lot of kids are also into Egyptian mythology. That's a huge one too.
I've not met a kid into Egyptian mythology.
I had a few at my elementary school.
Your Montessori school, yeah.
We were
Yeah, that's
we were
where you would find them. That's where they were all at.
Yep, sure.
I don't know. Ours was like Dork Diaries and Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, and then that was it.
We just had the really long chapter books. We read books.
We read books. Don't do that. Don't do that. We read books too. I can read.
Sure you did. Maybe you did. Maybe the rest of your school didn't.
Okay. You go with some of the... Anyways, that's
back
fine.
back to the Icarus.
You're in the
tale,
same
though.
class as me. Like, what are... And the people that read the books. Like, what are you talking about? We all ended up at the same place.
Not all of us.
Okay. Now, what were you saying about Icarus?
Back to Icarus. The whole meaning of his tale is don't get too cocky. Hubris is the downfall of mankind, essentially.
Sure.
Where he was flying out of the labyrinth on this perfect,
What'd you just say? On the what? On the perfect
uprising until he crashed and burned and fell into the ocean.
Icarus did not fall because of perfectionism. He failed because of recklessness. He did not listen to the warnings that I feel like I'm not saying the man's name right. His father, Daedalus, I think. I just have it. No, because then you're gonna see all my. You're gonna see all my
Look
stuff.
up his name then. Put it on Google or something.
Daedalus. He did not listen to the warnings that Daedalus gave to him. He gave him the limitations. And that shows to prove he failed because of recklessness. That's the irrational part of Icarus. The rational one in the story, Daedalus, survived because he knew his limits. He represents smart, discipline, pursuit of perfection. He knew the limits. Icarus did not listen. That's how he got too close to the sun.
But it doesn't really make sense if you're striving for perfection for there to be limits in the first place.
That doesn't make sense. What you just said doesn't make sense. Say it again.
Okay, the definition of perfection is it's hard to describe.
We can look it up.
We can.
We can.
I forgot you have your phone. I do this off of. I write my things down. I have a book for it.
You're not better than me. Perfection, defined as the condition, state, or quality of being free or as free as possible from all flaws or defects.
All flaws or defects.
As free as possible. The myth is not warning against perfectionism. It's warning against impulsiveness. He impulsively flew too high. That's reckless. That's irrational. Yeah, you see, I set you up. This was a trap. You're about to pull out your next.
Remember, I have a bombshell just waiting
And this
in
is
here.
why
for
I don't
I'm
do
losing. I'm
stuff
just
like
gonna-
this.
No,
And this will
I'm
be the
gonna-
last episode.
I hope not. This is fun. No, but no. With Icarus, I feel like his whole issue was it was the hubris. It was it was hubris. It was the recklessness. But the fact that the wings were designed with the flaw.
The wings were not designed with the flaw. The guy, Daedalus, and I will continue to say his name until I get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Daedalus, he survived. He knew the limits. Because his invention was perfect, because he was known for making perfect inventions. Icarus did not die. Did he die?
Yeah.
Okay. He did not. Cut that.
We're keeping that in. It's pretty well known. He falls in the ocean and drowns.
I just know he got too close to the sun. That's what they say. I'm not a nerd like you people.
You people.
You people. You people. Keep
Wow.
that in. And we.
Okay. I had. Okay. No. Anyways. Okay.
I just did not finish my sentence. I don't even know what I was saying. It's
We
okay.
were talking about the wings and how they were.
Oh
apparently
yeah,
this
he
perfect
died
invention.
because he was reckless and he was was irrational, not because of someone else's perfectionism.
An invention. Okay, you said that he was known for making perfect inventions. A perfect invention
'Cause you
would
go
not
for the
fail in
nerdy.
any way, shape, or form. It could
That's
fly
not
as close
true.
to the
A
sun.
perfect invention does what it's supposed to do within the limits it was made to do it. So Icarus died because he was reckless and because he didn't listen to the bounds of which the invention was made. That the perfect invention does what it's supposed to do. You wouldn't, like a car, if somebody drives too fast and hits if somebody speeds and drives recklessly, it's not because the car wasn't perfect, it's because the driver did too much.
But in the case of a perfect invention, you would still design a perfect invention without failure in any form.
I guess I'm still on. It did what it was supposed to do. If somebody else takes it and goes beyond what it's supposed to do, of course it's going to break.
But you would think an invention that's perfect wouldn't break at all. Is what
That's
I'm trying
not
to
true.
say.
There are plenty of imperfect inventions around this house right now that if you do the wrong thing, if I take a guitar and play baseball with it, it's gonna break. That's not because the invention is not perfect. It's because I was reckless and I didn't do what the invention was meant to do, or I did too much with the invention.
I do think, anyways, that the hubris of Icarus, one way or another, still shows a sense of imperfection. Because not even looking at the inventing side or the inventor's side or anything like that, Icarus himself, because this is a tale of Icarus, not the tale of the wings, it's the tale of Icarus.
Mm-hmm.
He himself still was not perfect one way or another, and the inventor himself still was not perfect one way or another. You can,
Doesn't mean he didn't strive for it. I mean, he made good inventions that did what they were supposed to do. He was getting better at it. He's building his craft. His craft was getting better. He was striving for perfection.
While still
And how is that
improving.
irrational?
What do you mean?
I mean, just how is striving for perfect? How is it? I don't think it's ever going to be. I think not knowing limits is what becomes irrational. When we speak of perfection, not knowing the limits of what perfect is and how far you can go and how far you can test it, that's the irrational part. It's not bad to strive to be perfect. It's bad to not know when you're when you keep falling short, when you need to take a break. That's the irrational part of it.
I guess I can see. I see. We'll put an end to the Icarus
Yeah, sure.
thing. It feels multifaceted, but at the same time, it doesn't. It's a weird
Yeah.
because I just can't think of any real response just right now. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's fine. What's your next one?
I guess I want to stay in the topic of media / pop culture
Okay.
right now. The next one, Thanos from Infinity War.
All right.
This one is kind of hard to argue
Okay.
against because, as many people know, I'm sure a lot of people have
Well, the
watched
same
Avengers
people that didn't
Infinity
know
War.
Frankenstein and Icarus explain Thanos to
We'll
him.
explain Thanos. Thanos, his whole ideology was the universe is imperfect. There's too much suffering and struggle, lack of resources. So he felt it was his job to correct that. His idea was to wipe out half the universe. His striving for perfection led to the deaths of trillions. In what world does striving for perfection as a rational concept lead
My
to
gosh,
such
one bad grape
devastation?
ruins the bunch.
You cannot don't call it that. He killed half a universe. You can't just put it up like what?
I'm saying, yeah, just because striving for doesn't, of course there are bad people. I'm not arguing against that. He did a bad thing. He was a bad Titan, I don't know, person, whatever.
Titan, I guess.
Bad, yeah, he was a bad person. Yeah, okay. That doesn't ruin it for everybody else that wants to strive to be perfect.
But it shows the major flaw in striving for perfection. In striving for perfection, some extremely irrational things need to be reached. He wants and of course everybody if you've ever watched Infinity War, you've probably thought to yourself other options, other ways that he could go about his plan. Like the main one is double the resources.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that an option? Why is in the
Because he was a bad person. Nobody's arguing that he was a bad person. That's why.
But okay, it's the idea that he was trying to make this perfectly balanced world or universe. Sorry, trying to make this perfectly balanced universe. Even still, that in and of itself is irrational because it's altering the course of people's lives and taking away autonomy. When it comes to perfection, in that sense, it's just dangerous. I guess it's dangerous because all you're doing is just in striving for perfection at such a grand scale, even on an individual scale, striving to be the best, the most perfect, or find the most perfect option, has its setbacks in the way of the individuals that are almost, I guess, in the way of your own personal perfection. Because I feel like rather than being better than everyone or finding the best option, someone's going to get left behind. And rather than seeing it in that sense, you should see it in a sense of, as long as I'm better than who I used to be, I can strive to be better, not perfect.
Okay, well, if we're
finding or looking for a solution that's better, not perfect.
yeah, but if we're still talking about Thanos, the person he used to be was still a person that committed genocide. It's not that much harder to be better than who he was yesterday, as opposed to if he was striving for perfection. And yes, I understand that his striving for perfection, quotation marks around that, was killing a bunch of people.
And I think it's a good example of the end doesn't justify the means, right there. Because he wanted perfection, a lot of people died, and it's just you
They
can't.
came back, kind of.
If the Avengers weren't
Kind of,
there,
they
they
kind of-
wouldn't have come back. If that rat didn't crawl
And
across
you know what,
that
the Avengers-
dashboard in the storage, they wouldn't have been back.
That's true.
Imagine the countless universes in the Marvel universe where the people did not come back.
That's true.
Where Thanos snapped, and all those what was it? Doctor Strange said in the 14 million there was the one that did win.
Yeah.
What about the other 14 million that didn't win?
I'm not going to do. You're not going to trick me into supporting genocide, so we can go ahead and we can wrap that up. That's crazy.
I'm right. That's
I will
thing.
agree. That's a very good example, and I'm for one bad grape.
One
it
bad
is-
grape. This
it's
is a
one-
totally
it's-
different scale.
It's bad. He did a bad
It's not
thing.
like one person
you can't,
cheated on the
striving
test
for
and everyone
perfection
fails.
does not is not automatically going to make you a good person. I'm not arguing that by any means. I'm saying that it's rational. I'm saying that if the average person, a person that doesn't commit genocide, that is the average person. If they are striving for perfection, it is rational. I'm not saying, yes, people make bad decisions. And that's another thing of knowing limits. He didn't know his limits. Don't kill. That was the limit. And he didn't know that. So, I mean, that's another thing of testing limits. It's not because he was striving for perfection didn't make him. I mean, I understand that he wanted in the end a perfect thing, but that's again not knowing limits and the definitions of perfect and perfection being different than others. We ended the last segment talking about Icarus and how his strive for perfection, and I say that in quotations, wasn't really due to aiming for perfection. It was, or him flying so close to the sun wasn't due to his need to be perfect, rather than his recklessness and limits and not knowing.
Yeah, not knowing what his own limits were.
Yeah.
We kind of settled on the point of it was less of the perfection of the situation,
and more of him
more
not
so
listening
just
to
the
limits.
recklessness.
I think striving for perfection is okay as long as you. And that this might be a repeat of what I said, but it's okay as long as you know the limits and the how far you can push yourself before you need to relax, take a break, and reset. You know.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid one. So far, we discussed Frankenstein, Icarus. I just forgot the name.
Frankenstein, Icarus,
Thanos, Adam Warlock,
Warlock,
and what was the first one that you mentioned?
Existentialism, which kind of sums it all up.
Yeah,
it's just the name for the. It's the branch of philosophy. But it focuses on perfection and everything.
Yeah. I think so. If we're going to, keep it rolling with the topic of perfection, another pretty decent another good example of a situation where striving for perfection wasn't rational or really wasn't even moral. A really great example, Nazi Germany.
Great. Sure, let's talk about. Is this like after the trailer that we saw yesterday? Is that what you thought about, or did you?
This was one that I had for a little while because
okay.
I've even in our lying one, I had a point that I didn't bring up about how lying was beneficial. Was people in Germany, Poland, wherever were hiding Jewish people away and lying to Nazi officers that they didn't have anybody in their house. That was a whole separate thing, though. In the case of this, the whole Aryan race idea, them trying to create this quote unquote perfect race through eugenics.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's pretty wrong and irrational.
Okay, so that's this whole conversation, the entire thing. You're taking the most extreme examples in the description of the podcast. It's day-to-day life. Nobody's doing Nazi Germany again. That's
well, we're getting there. I mean,
will cut that. That's crazy. No, I'm saying bad people are going to be bad people. The average person, and yes, the idea of creating a perfect race is insane. It is, and I agree. So continue your. I can't argue against. Genocide. That's crazy.
This is why I came up with these ones. I know I do well. I'd be good at defending.
You won't get me. This is a trap. This whole thing this entire segment has been a setup. So I'm excited for I want to cut to the next one. This is crazy.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead. No. Continue. I mean, the next topic. Go ahead. No, you go to your Explain
how this is
How
irrational.
genocide is bad. Yeah.
This is the second time this
The
episode.
second time. Oh my gosh. Second time this episode. Yeah.
Really more so Nazi Germany was kind of the big. It was the broad one, but there were still individual parts of that. Some people still went along with it on an individual scale.
What are we? Yeah, people went along with.
Obviously, I'm stating. I keep bumping the mic. People, I'm talking just the citizens. Okay. Some people actually believed that stuff.
Yeah, most people did.
Most people did at the time. They were brainwashed.
That's why it got as far as it did.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's another example of how perfection isn't rational or good.
Yeah.
This idea of perfection is not rational or good. I'm using these grand examples.
No, but to show the extreme. I understand.
To show the extremism of it. I have more toned back examples. The Frankenstein one was more of a toned back.
Yeah.
But I'm presenting these very heavy hitting ones.
No,
to show that these
it builds up.
These big examples of perfection were bad.
Yeah.
And in a lot of different scenarios, things like that. Striving for that level of perfection has been bad. I know another topic that I think that you would enjoy, the Manhattan Project. in striving to create the perfect weapon.
I'm not gonna talk about bombs 2 episodes in a row.
We're gonna make this a consistent trend.
It's gonna be every episode. We're
We're gonna have a little segment. We're gonna call it like the bombs segment.
Oh, and for the people who didn't know what Frankenstein and Icarus were, the Manhattan Project was was when Oppenheimer decided to build the bomb, a great invention used for terrible, terrible things.
And that's why it's he made this perfect weapon that it destroyed so many people and and wreaked havoc, but it also killed a lot more. I mean, you could find a different method to end a war than let's atomize a city, 2 cities.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think he didn't even want to build the bomb. He didn't want to use it. He did it he built it, but he didn't even want to use it, you know.
Yeah. That's just like another idea where perfection, striving for it led to the deaths of
then let me
people.
throw in an extreme. What about civil rights activists? You know, when we're fighting for equality and when we're fighting for equal rights, we aim to
I can't counter argue this. I am not the one to say anything on this.
And we're gonna have this conversation.
Oh my god.
We're gonna have the conversation. If we equality is the idea that it can be perfect, that we can be even. That's what civil rights activists fight for. And that's what not like civil rights activists when it comes to race, activists when it comes to
gender or
gender,
LGBTQ
LGBTQ, what if I just kept adding letters? No. That's
I think there's a whole like the full
LGBTQIA plus.
Hold on, let me check.
Is there another one for like
full form?
So we can be inclusive. This is an inclusive podcast.
Oh my.
What is it?
I looked it up. LGBTQIP2SAA.
2. The number?
2. The number 2.
What is that?
1 2.
What does that mean?
Let me see what this full thing is.
Wait,
lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, pansexual, 2S or 2-spirit, asexual, ally.
2-spirit. Ally? You can't add ally to it.
They did this time. I mean, they got a flag, I'm pretty sure, don't they? It's
An ally has a flag?
I think it's like the gay flag with like the triangle or something in it. It's like
Oh. You can't. Don't
it's
think
hard
we
to.
should.
I don't know. I'm not one to say because I'm none of those things. Unlike
you're not an ally.
No, wait.
Rivers is not an ally. You heard it here first.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like the other stuff. Even though Kayla
you sure you're not questioning?
I swear.
I don't understand how questioning is a branch. That should be like your personal business.
That's kind of like
what is the flag for questioning? Can you?
I want to look.
Up?
I want to see the questioning flag. Questioning flag. Yo, what? Oh my god, are you kidding me?
What is it,
dude?
Is it a question mark?
It's a question mark in the heterosexual flag with the gay stripes.
Yeah. Okay, that would be if I were to make a flag for those questioning.
That's kind of like
that would
perfect.
Be
actually.
that'll sum it up.
I know a lot of the other ones because I know a lot of people who are like within the LGBTQ community, and they just kind of show me the flags, and I'm like, oh, that's something.
Yeah. So but as I was saying, the whole fighting for equal rights and comes from a mindset that we can be equal, and equality means perfection, or it means equal, not equitable. Equal means everybody gets the same amount, and that would be a perfect society, would it not?
Equal, like okay, so like you're at like a utopian type of situation
where everybody's treated equally.
A perfect
now
society.
Whether or not that can happen, which actually this is the conversation we were having the other day.
Yeah, we were. By definition, yeah, I mean it would be a perfect society because everyone would get the same stuff. The only real counter argument I can really give for that would be the fact that it's impossible. Like,
yeah, I'm not saying
it's just implausible. it's a good idea, but it's just never gonna happen.
It's
because
a
that's
good
not how
idea. It is a
humans
good
are.
idea.
It's a great idea, just not. Gonna
Yeah,
happen.
but
That's just not
if
how humans
we
work.
didn't have people, and remember I said perfection is always a moving target, but if
Yeah.
we didn't have people that were willing to go for these moving targets, that were willing to strive for perfection and keep it rational in understanding boundaries and everything, then we wouldn't have as much equality as we have now. I don't know why I emphasized the E on that, but
Equality.
Why we wouldn't have as much equality as we do now. We wouldn't have these great people in society that are helping others. End of sentence.
End
Period.
of sentence. Yeah, that was very like you were gonna keep going. I
Go
was
back.
like, okay. I was like, mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
But I think because the side I'm really defending here is that it's better to improve day by day rather than strive for a perfect target. The point I'm trying to defend overall here is that I think it's better to strive for betterment on a smaller scale to work up to a bigger goal.
And that, what is the goal?
Just general self improvement from being like who you were before. That's just on like a personal scale, but I think on a social scale,
Yeah.
even fighting for like any type of civil rights has to start from a day by day being better than yesterday basis.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't as I say, Rome wasn't built in a day. Another thing with like you said, perfection is a moving target. If it's a moving target, you're not going to hit it in your lifetime. So why
But that doesn't make it irrational to strive for it. I'm not saying that everybody needs to hit perfection. I'm saying that it's not to have when you are, I'm just looking over there, I'm sorry. But when you are thinking of a goal and thinking of, the person you want to be in the future, it is not irrational to think, hey, I should strive to be perfect. Understanding boundaries, I cannot emphasize that enough, because the point doesn't stand if you're like, that's, there is no, but understanding boundaries and everything, it's not, in my opinion, again, completely opinion based, but it's not a bad idea to be like, I want to be the best version of myself. I want, and the best version of yourself would be one with no flaws, or ones with flaws that are acceptable, but generally in that perfection area.
I guess. I think again, it circles back, if we're keeping this opinion based, you can't achieve that without the day by day betterment.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, again, it just circles back to the way you say that perfection is a moving target. It is a moving target, which makes it almost like, what's the guy with the rock? Sisyphusian, whatever.
Sisyphus, I think.
Yeah, Sisyphus. His whole thing was push this rock forever.
Yeah.
It never ends. He went insane. It just makes sense. To strive to be the perfect individual. It seems like a Sisyphus type of task to try to strive for perfection, because if it's always a moving target, you're never going to reach it, and that after some time, I feel like would become very draining, and it would be much better to just look back on yesterday and try to be better than that every day.
And then what happens if you fail that?
Try again tomorrow.
Okay, so when you're talking about it being endless, I feel is part of the boundaries part. Understanding when you need to not give up, but maybe change the goal, because again, I feel like your definition of perfection is what you want it to be. I feel that's when you need to change. That's when you need to change the idea of or how you're doing it, or what it is you're doing, or, that's when you need to change things up. And that's so you don't drive yourself to insanity, and I'm so excited because now I get to talk about my favorite movie ever.
Oh, we're talking about Whiplash.
We're talking about Whiplash.
I watched it the other day because I've been trying to get myself to actually learn how to drum a little better.
Watching Whiplash probably is not the best.
Definitely not the best confidence builder.
Yeah.
I just watched Joey Jordison playing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
But I know I'm never gonna be like Joey Jordison.
Andrew Neiman drives himself almost to insanity, and even worse than insanity, he almost stops loving the thing he almost stops loving the drum. And that's because he didn't, well, I don't know, the whole premise of the movie is actually that Fletcher was doing it on purpose. But, and if you haven't seen Whiplash, stop this and go watch it, because truly it's...
Well, if you don't know what Frankenstein is, you don't know about Icarus, and you don't know what the Manhattan Project is, you probably don't know what Whiplash is. But I suggest if you don't know what any of those four things are,
you should go read more.
Please.
Read
two
more.
of them are a novel.
Yeah.
One of them is history, which is also something you can read.
Two of them are movies, because we did Thanos as well.
We did we explain that?
Yeah.
We did, yeah. We explained a lot of things that should be common knowledge, but you never know.
Yeah, but he drives himself to insanity, and one of my favorite quotes, which is actually my bio on Letterboxd. Yeah.
I don't think I follow you up on there. I'm never on Letterboxd, to be fair.
I'm always on Letterboxd.
I'm on Music Board. I rate like individual songs from like all my favorite bands.
Yeah. There are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job. There's not a better quote. And that might be live, but the whole movie is around him trying to strive for perfection, and he reaches it. I mean, at the end he plays this huge drum solo, and it's so incredible. And it's just like, that's what the movie was building up to. That's what all his practicing had been building up to. But he was able to reach that once he realized that perfection or whatever wasn't going to be through Fletcher, that it wasn't going to be on his terms, that his idea of being the best was what he decided. So at the end of the movie, he plays the big drum solo, even though Fletcher told him to stop and, everything, all of that. But that's just, again, an example of changing what your idea of perfection, or changing your idea of the end goal, so you don't drive yourself to insanity, or so you don't stop loving something, or,
I guess. I guess. No, that's not fair. That's a really good example. I'm just trying to think of like,
give an entire monologue and you're talking about some, I guess.
No, I'm not. I was paying attention because you were talking about the drum solo. I just had like a Joey Jordison clip playing in my brain.
Yeah,
the
that's
whole
fair.
time, because I'm like, that's the drummer. But no, I do think that was
and there are a couple of movies like that, actually. Another one, Black Swan, exact same thing.
Yep.
Except ballet.
Yeah, dude.
Ballet's
ballet
intense.
seems so
dude,
painful.
I couldn't in one of the scenes she takes off her slippers and it just has blisters, and it's like her foot is bleeding, and I'm like, dude.
I think the only like other art form that I think is worse than ballet for like physically for you would be like boxing, maybe, because you're just beating each other up.
Yeah.
I would say WWE, but that's not anything
real.
important. It's not real, and it's also not good.
Yeah, boxing is, yeah.
Or like, that wasn't really. I guess it's a sport, less of an art form.
Yeah. I would go sport. Not
I think
art form. Ballet, I think, is truly, because
ballet is like absolutely one of the most takes a toll.
Intense.
Dude.
I can only imagine the behind the scenes of it and everything.
Oh God, the training, the amount of like time and energy, and just like ugh.
Because then not only are you trying to do that, you're trying to beat everybody else, because everybody else wants the part.
Yeah. I think the only other like comparable artists and art forms that I know of that could compare are gonna be like metal artists, specifically the drummers, and maybe some vocalists. But I'm talking.
What do you mean? What?
When it comes to like straining art forms.
Well, you could do any musician. You practice long enough, you play hard enough. Yeah, I mean,
when you're, I guess I'm just thinking of like the ones I'm really familiar with.
Yeah, I mean drums. Yeah, but either way, you're gonna get blisters no matter what instrument you're playing.
That's fair. Or like strain of some kind.
Yeah.
Still just insane. Ballet artists need way more props than they get.
Way more.
So
I've gone to the ballet maybe two or three times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, incredible.
It's so cool to watch, but it's
Yeah.
just like, dude, the amount of, like, every time I watch any like clips or anything, I'm just like, the amount of work
You're
they're
watching
putting
clips
in.
of ballet.
It shows up on my Instagram,
Oh.
and I'm just like, oh, sure,
Okay.
I'm not seeking it out.
I'm just,
like,
I'm
it just
asking.
happens to
Yeah.
it just happens to show up.
Okay.
It's like the car crash videos. You don't
What?
get car crash videos on your Instagram?
No. It's
Oh.
for you page.
Actually, no, it's not for me page. It's my For You page has been shaped by my friends who send me car crash videos.
Interesting. So we but just movies like that. And then even the movie we went to see yesterday, F1.
F1,
I feel like you could throw that in there, It's these people and they're trying to get first place and then they realize they need to work together. They have to change the idea of what perfection is in order to accomplish it.
But I guess my only real counter argument, and it's been the same one over and over again, but I think just because it can stand that test.
You
is
had to
just-
bring up genocide again.
I'm not bringing up genocide
okay.
again.
I was just
Genocide-
asking. You said again. This would be 3. I don't. Go ahead.
Third time's the charm. What other genocides do I have in this book today? No.
Yeah, I mean-
It's just gonna be. They wouldn't be able to get there without daily or like small forms of improvement. I feel
Yeah.
like, and like even with F1, we saw in the racing simulator they had so many
Mm-hmm.
different like times with their names attached to it.
Yeah.
Of just them trying to beat their own personal best
Yeah.
over and over and over again. And I think that is the most ideal form of improvement because you get to actually see results as it's happening rather than working to this idea that you might have. Working towards a goal, this huge, big, perfect goal that's always changing. You're not going to see the results as, I guess, I'm not going to say as quickly, but you're definitely not going to be as satisfied with your results in a short amount of time. With daily improvement or small-scale improvement, being better than yesterday, being better than the last time, you get to see the improvement stack over time. And you can look back months, years, however long your time unit is, and you can see, wow, I started here, look how far I've gotten, rather than look how far I could get into this. Because all working to this perfect idea is you're just working to an idea. You're not working to yourself. You're working to this idea of yourself. You're not working to your own strength.
That was a good way of putting it. I think another question that could be posed here is it about the journey or is it about the destination? It really ultimately it depends on the person. You know, I'm not saying you're wrong. I absolutely think working to beat yourself yesterday is, that's healthy.
Yeah, that's
And
yes.
but then also working to be the best version of yourself, period. That's also, I feel like,
I think we're definitely on the same page.
I think we're saying the same
We're
things,
saying the
just
same
in
thing,
different,
just in different ways.
Yeah.
Like I do think that you should work to a grand idea of yourself, but at the same time, I'd rather work to be better than who I was yesterday, just for the sake of seeing that improvement as it happens, rather than working to this idea. I think the last example I want to give
Sure.
is it's less of like an internal thing; it's more so of an external thing with like attachment styles, where a lot of the time it's something I've noticed a lot more today, or not like today, but like modern times. With relationships is that people don't fall in love with a person as much as they do fall in love with an idea of that person. And that's the idea that I'm trying to like kind of get across here, rather than fall in love with this idea of yourself, fall in love with who you are now and work at that instead. And that's kind of how I see it in a way. It's just like a relevant, I guess.
Dang, that was good. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That was good. I have nothing to say.
That's what I've been trying to get across this whole time. I just have not known how to say it.
That was a fantastic way of pointing it. Yeah. That's a great way. And dang, like that's a fantastic way of putting it. Yeah, actually clip that. That's great.
That was pretty.
Yeah.
I think that was like definitely the therapeutic words out there.
That
for
was
the
good.
day.
I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah. Do it. Fall in love with yourself today, so that way, you know. But also, cut that. You know, I just stuttered for a good 3 minutes. Just cut the whole thing. You're right. That was good.
That's all I was really trying to get across.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't say that at the beginning of the episode. This would have been short.
I wanted to give a bunch of examples to show how extreme perfection
you
can
take
be.
the movies I love, you turn them against me, and then you completely clock me at the end. This is awful.
How the tables have turned from the last
yeah,
episode.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
What now? Like,
I guess any closing remarks if we want to end it here.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the big bombshell I've kind of been waiting.
At the end of the
drop.
day, you should absolutely love who you are now. I completely agree. But also at the end of the day, if you want to, at the end of another day, if you want to work towards a goal, yeah, I think both of them are fine. I
Me
think
too.
it really depends on the person. I'm more of a person that, where do I see myself in 10 years and how can I work now to get there?
I'm much more of like a who was I yesterday and how can I be better than that person.
Yeah, which it's just life experience. I don't think either
Yeah.
one of us are wrong, you know.
Yeah, this is definitely not like a
No,
one
but
or
it
the
definitely
other.
was a fun conversation.
Really
This
was.
was great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really just depends on the person.
I think that's the takeaway from this episode.
Yeah.
It definitely depends on who you are and like don't let us shape how you improve yourself. I do want to put that out there now. I feel like that was something we should have started with because this was very heavy on self-improvement today.
Yeah.
Or this episode has been very heavy on like self-improvement. I don't want us to shape how you
Yeah.
change yourself. That's entirely up to you and how you feel comfortable doing that.
But
to
then I
whoever's
also think
listening.
talking about it helps because you do get to see different ways people work on themselves because we all
Yeah.
need to work on ourselves. I guess it's just a matter of how.
how and when and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like recapping Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Well, let's just recap the points I guess we made through it,
Um,
and then we can cut that part where I was just trying to explain that.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein.
So my points at the end of today were these grand examples of perfection and how they've been harmful in pop culture, like Thanos example, Nazi Germany, Frankenstein, even if it's on a smaller scale, creating a monster that was meant to be perfect that ended up harming the monster itself and yourself as the creator. Just other examples of how like perfection hasn't been ideal to strive for, with like the Adam Warlock bit that I mentioned a bit ago, and how he's this perfect being, but he still falls for the vices of humanity and all that.
Yeah, and my points were how existentialism, which is the approach that emphasizes individualism. It's easy to understand. We need to understand that perfection is a moving target. If you do choose to strive for it, it's about limits and it's about bounds and it's about knowing how far you can push yourself, such as Icarus, and how his getting close to the sun wasn't about his strive for perfection, but it was about how he didn't know his limits and how he didn't know his bounds and he took it too far. And the same thing with Andrew Neiman in Whiplash, and how he once he realized that his idea of his perfect self and how his idea of being the best wasn't based on what somebody else told him or what somebody else thought. It was based on his own. And once he realized that and changed the way he worked and changed the way he views things, he was able to do it.
I think that sums up our point, Steph,
Yeah.
like, pretty well, with just our good examples overall, good
Absolutely.
arguments on both sides.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks. We'll just be sure to like, subscribe, comment if you had something to say.
Absolutely. Comment like which one you agree with and
Yeah,
the best
absolutely.
way to
Like,
work
just-
on yourself.
Of course, yeah. And just any other thoughts you have on the topic, honestly, we'd love to hear them. We're always open to hearing new opinions. That's kind of the whole MO of this podcast.
Definitely, I want to hear more opinions because then we'll
Absolutely,
talk
yeah.
about it. And
of course, we might have like a little segment in the next few
Yeah.
episodes coming up where we just discuss previous points and like other opinions we've heard, and just an idea to throw out there. But
And we'll see you guys next time.
of course, see you next time. This has been The Morality Complex.
Thank you so much for listening.
Please like and subscribe to keep up to date on any new episodes coming out.